Hey guys, I know it's been a while, really sorry about that. It's been a while since I shared with you an easy recipe. And I think those of you that watch our channel frequently, you know, the regular visitors that we have here on our channel, you guys, if you remember, last thing that I shared with you when it comes to food and recipes was healthy recipes. So me and Mike have been doing this journey of trying to lose weight, and we've actually managed to almost reach our perfect weight. So me and Mike both, each of one lost 10 kilos in what, a year, Mike? Was it a year?
15.
50 kilos.
15.
50, yeah, I'm sorry, 15 kilos. That's 1-5. So Mike lost,
6 months.
I think in a year, about a year, yeah. Total of a year, I think. No? Yeah, I think in a year, I would say tops a year. Mike managed to lose 15 kilograms, so that's really a lot, and I managed to lose 10 kilograms. So what we're doing is really working, you guys. I don't need to prove anything to any of you. I'm just saying that we know the struggle, and we're not here, you know, to get views. We're really here to share something that we know is a very difficult struggle for a lot of you, as it was for us. So anyway, so today, for example, what you can do for lunch is this healthy recipe, low calorie recipe. What you need is 1 zucchini. This zucchini is about 480 grams, 4 eggs, 2 tomatoes. The zucchini, we're gonna clean it, peel it, cut it in small pieces, and then boil it first. And then we're gonna drain it, and then we're gonna make a really nice omelet out of it. Yeah, so that's why we need the eggs. And of course, you can use a little bit of salt, a little bit of whatever spices you like, dry spices. Or you can throw in there a couple of fresh spinach leaves in there too. So anyway, so this per person, when you divide this into 2 equal half per person, this is going to give you like an extremely low calorie lunch. It's gonna give you about 164 calories per person. Yeah, so this is for me and Mike both. So we're gonna end up with 163 calories per person. Yeah, so because it's this low, 163 calories per person, instead of 2 eggs, I'm gonna use 3 eggs per person to make the omelet a little bit bigger, because it's about between 64 and 70 calories per egg. So that's not really bad. So I can go up to 3 eggs per person, still 1 zucchini that I'm gonna divide equally. And so you're gonna get per person 3 eggs, half of a zucchini, that weighs about 450 grams, and then 1 tomato. So this half, add an egg in there also. That's gonna give you about, with the 64, I guess it's gonna give you what, about 200 calories. Still really extremely low for a lunch, a healthy lunch. All right, so let's start. So first I'm gonna cleanse the zucchini, and then cut it in half, and then cut it in little pieces, and then boil it till it's soft. That's the first step. Let's do that. So Mike just corrected me. He did lose 15 kilograms in 7 months. So again, you guys, what we're doing works, and that's basically, there is no secret, nothing vague about this. What we're doing is we're counting calories. Please dive into the counting calories thing. I know it seems in the beginning a little bit overwhelming. It seems like you're doing calculating all the time, but trust me, once you have one week worth of recipes, or 2 week worth of recipes, usually gonna end up sticking to that. And do that for a couple of months. That will give you a feeling of how calories work, what has how much, and then trust me, by yourself, you're gonna come up with ideas to combine and do this and do that. But I know it sounds like a lot of fluff, but calories, counting calories really works, you guys. That's the only thing that we did. We're not going to the gym because of the COVID thing. We're now in June 2022. We're still not doing anything. We're still avoiding people, still going not to the gym. So this is not because we're working out. Trust me, just purely by counting calories. We don't even do strolls or big walks or all that. Yeah, just stay inside. We just recently started with walking for about 1 hour around our home here once a week. Early hours, avoiding people completely. We're really serious about that because we still have friends, family that still come down with COVID, and sometimes it's really bad. So yes, June 2022, didn't do any gym, anything, just counting calories. And I really, really would like to stress it to you guys. If you're trying to do this journey, losing weight, please dive into the counting calories things, because I promise you it works. So there's the zucchini, diced them well. Guys, remember to weigh your stuff before you start to boil them. But because, so this is how I know that this zucchini is about 450 grams. Because if I was going to weigh after it's boiled, it will be a little bit heavier because it will suck even more water. So 450 calories as it is right now, okay? And then now that you know that you can't go wrong with your calories, with the amount that you have here. Eventually, it doesn't matter how. So once you boil them, drain them really well, and then after that, weigh them again, and then divide that into, when you're making this for two persons. Guys, if you happen to be watching this and you want to know how we did it, I'm more than happy to share with you our menus and how exactly we managed to lose this much weight. Because when when I talk to my colleagues or friends that we have, people that we know, they cannot just fathom that we did this. And to tell you the truth, we cannot fathom that we did this. So if there are people out there that happen to be watching this and you guys are struggling with losing weight and you're like, hey, please guys share with us the magic formula, there's nothing magical about it, we'll be more than happy to do it. What you see here is something that's central in this plan. So this is our lunch. Smoothie is our lunch. And what I have here is this ashwagandha powder they add in there to relax you. This is good for relaxation, and especially if you're a person that's always under stress, this is a completely organic root. They dry and then turn into powder. This really helps me, but Mike says he doesn't really feel any big differences, but I don't know, I kind of feel like it did something for me. It lowered the stress level and the anxiety. But anyway, that's a completely different story. It's not involved in this. So the water is boiling. I'm gonna add this in there and then come back to you after that. Me and Mike really feel so sorry for the parent of this baby. It's really sad. This baby is always crying her or his lungs out. Always, always, always. Always. It's almost 24 hours, so that's really sad. I think it's crybaby, which is really medical thing. Crybabies, it's a thing. And I really feel for you if you're a parent with a crybaby, because I've had them in the family. It wears you out. So sad. Let's hope he grows or she grows fast and grow over this. But meanwhile, there they are. Make them as soft as you like. You and your own preference. So I know some of you prefer everything to have spices, to have a flavor. I can understand that. But please, if you're thinking about adding any kind of spices to give it more flavor, don't add this kind of stuff. This is the taco spices. Don't add this kind of stuff that are assembled. Because look at it, you guys. It's 290 calories per 100 grams. It's a lot. And, one would think, why? It's just spices. Dry spices, but it's not. They add a lot of salt in there. They add a lot of sugar, so that cranks the calorie amount very fast up. So don't do this. Just go for something that's natural, and make sure it's not something that has this crazy amount of calories. And I'm using only a pinch of this when I make like grilled chicken or something to marinate it with, and then I water it down with a little bit of water, a little bit of other spices. So this will last you a lifetime almost. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I mean, guys. So please do not think too lightly about dry spices. They have their own calories that that add to the equation too. So Just be aware of that and choose carefully what kind of spices you add if you're choosing for something that will give whatever you're making flavor. So I just took one out and tasted. It's really nice and it tastes so good. Really, just as it is right now, it tastes so good. Why? Because I added a little bit of this. If you're in Holland, you guys know this one, knor ahumat. This is something here in Holland that we add. If you do not have, or if you don't know your spices, or you don't feel like you need to invest time to find out what spices are for what, or that, in Holland we have this. This is something that you cannot go wrong with. You can use it in your salad, soup, on your meat, whatever. So this is that one go-to if you have no idea what kind of spices you should be using. And it has relatively less calories, only 150 calories per 100 grams. So I'm using, again, a pinch, barely noticeable by the radar or the scanner. Give you an idea. So it's just a metaphor. So but just a little bit, really, pinch, 2 pinches, 3 pinches like this, and it's more than enough. And I can already smell the aroma and taste it also. Okay, so there it is. I just drain it, let it cool off just a little bit. Let it cool off just a little bit. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be, too cooled off or whatever. So guys, so now this is where you need to pay attention. If you're making this for your own, just take a half of the zucchini. If you're making this for 2 persons, and use the other half the other day. But if you're making 1 zucchini for 2 persons, this is where you need to start weighing. Okay, so I'm gonna weigh the total amount of this and then divide it in 2. And that's how I'll end up making 1 omelet for me and 1 omelet for Mike, with 3 eggs and 1 tomato for each. Okay, and I'm gonna make them separately just to make sure. This is how I do it, just to make with this kind of stuff that otherwise are impossible, to weigh as a mixture and then divide them into. So I don't do that. I just, from this point, I just do everything separate. So first I'm gonna weigh everything that I need for 1 person, make an omelet, set the rest aside, and then go back and finish. That's how you know that you have the right amount of calories that you calculated. Otherwise, it's going to be vague and you're going to guess, and that's not how it works. So, again, it sounds a little bit complicated, but I promise you it isn't once you dive into it. You just need to get that feeling for it after a couple of, maybe a month, 2 months. So, it's a little bit in the investment of your time. But again, we're talking here about something that's very hard to do, especially when you're an adult. The older you get, the harder it gets. So, yes, it's more than worth it. I can tell you that. So I'm gonna end up with about 170 per person. So I'm gonna leave this. This is for me. Meanwhile, I just, let's say I'm now preparing Mike's. So I just cut that 1 tomato, medium, not too big, in small pieces. And then I added his share of 170 grams of the boiled zucchini. Now I'm gonna spray it again. We're talking about a spray. Spray with a little bit of olive oil that we have in this container. I'm talking about a spray. Don't go overboard, don't go too crazy. Just a spray. Psh, psh, that's it. Then put it on a medium fire and let it bake a little bit and create a crust. We're not talking about minutes. Maybe just a minute or 2 depending on how high your fire is, but stay on it. You do not want this to burn, okay? Meanwhile, you're gonna scramble the eggs, add a little bit of salt, just a pinch of salt in there, and then just pour it over this, yeah? And then let it solidify as how do you say that? As an omelet would, and then use a plate to flip it, and as you would with a tortilla, Spanish tortilla. Those of you that know Spanish tortilla, let it first solidify, let the egg mixture cook, and then use a board to flip it and then bake the other side. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. And I need to explain this to you because I cannot do this while I'm doing it because I need 2 hands for that. Guys, just make sure, don't give it a chance to get rid of all these juices because it's gonna be soggy and wet. So if you happen to have like one of these, just put it on high, couple of seconds until you see that all the juice have evaporated, and then add the scrambled eggs. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this cute? Just wait for it. Give it a little bit of time. That's why I'm using this wide skillet, so that you do not end up with too much egg that doesn't bake. Just give it space. Use a skillet that has space so that the egg mixture can spread out a little bit, and that way you're helping the baking process a little bit faster. All right, use one of these spatula to help the omelet, come off the bottom of your skillet, and use your best skillet. Use a pancake skillet that does not stick. Very crucial. Okay, and then use one of these boards to flip it after you've helped it a little bit, and make sure that it's loose. It's not sticking on the bottom. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a mess. So, if your skillet sticks, make sure you use a little bit of kitchen towel with a little bit of butter. Just touch your butter stick a little bit, and then make sure you grease the bottom before you add all this in there. So if you're making 2 omelets, make sure you clean the bottom of your skillet really good before you make the other one, because otherwise the residue of the first will mess up with your second omelet. All right, there's the end result. It's so good, you guys. This is not anything that went wrong. This is what I used to flip it, and I don't care. I'm gonna use it, as my plate also to eat from. So there it is, extremely low calorie omelet, very healthy. All right, and at this point, be careful with what you have as a side dish or as a drink.
Can you hand me the cheese?
The cheese? No.
No cheese?
Not the cheese. No, not this time. All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. We're gonna enjoy this. Have a good day. Remember, you can do it.
Bye.